The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic. Assemble. You're watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from the Hall of F. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspect. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay. I agree. There it is. Next, he's our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for the cowl. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
This is going to be fun. I am heavily medicated right now.
Oh, Lord. Oh,
You're in California?
Legally, well, I guess it's legal there.
Next, he's the backbone. The backbone. The pillar.
You can change
the strength, the Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler, and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
Hey, what's up? My hair's a disaster. Ugh.
We were all just thinking that, Mo.
I didn't even shave
his hair.
Oh, fuck.
His hair's a disaster.
It's been a long day. I just got home like 45 minutes ago.
No, jeez. There it is. And
don't do that to me.
As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mary Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today because we are going to be talking to you all about my adventures with Superman. And we are going to be talking to you all about the ending of Night Terrors, the DC comic event. So we got all that coming up. And of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, because without him, this show would not exist. So thank you, Scott Rubin. Hope everything is well with you, good sir.
I hope he got out of puppy. All right.
Oh, he said he hope he got out of Burning Man, all right?
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, poor fellas. Half an inch of rain. Ooh.
Yeah. Mud. It's like it's like a 9 Inch Nails show.
Y'all getting soft out there. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the Burning Men are getting soft, but
yeah. No, Scott was not out there.
You know who's soft is the people on the internet that were like, because at this point these people are more affluent, so they're like everybody's making fun. Oh, the rich people don't know how to get out of mud, and somebody's like in the comment section like, well, you're forgetting that the police close the roads too. Like, since when is being rich a negative point? And I'm like, since when? Like, it's since the internet started. Like, every comment section since like the alt dot news groups is like, rich motherfucker. Like, I think that was the first comment on the internet. Like, I even think Alexander Graham Bell said that. There's rich motherfucker with your phone. When he was
that was him.
We hate them, we ain't them.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah, man. But if you want to get down Fantastic Forum, there's a couple ways to do it, and we'll tell you how. So listen to the intern, please.
To get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to. Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
I like Genius' face. I was like, should I fix it or not?
It's such a hot track. We had to run it back. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is.
It gets to the point where he's about to make a decision, but it's gone so long that it's like it's not even worth it anymore.
Thank you, intern.
Like I literally saw that thought process work. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let it run twice. Fuck it. Yeah.
Then Lawrence starts dancing, so he's like, maybe I should hit this a third time.
Yeah.
I gotta make some kind of video or something for that, because otherwise it's just us like looking around.
Right.
I had made one, and it was Harley like talking, like but then she died, and I didn't feel like putting it up. But
that's fair.
It exists.
Speaking of third ones, Mo.
Yeah.
Are you watching the new Adventure Time series?
Now, when you say third one, were you thinking of his leg?
What?
When you said third ones, hey Mo, were you thinking of his leg?
No, I never think about that. Like, I think about Brandon Routh and I think about Willem Dafoe.
I'm hurt.
But aside from those two,
like we're friends. We're friends. Like you can't even like, not even around the holidays. You can't wish my third leg well.
Well, like you have to, because if you both have, if you're each on one end of the woman, you got to know if you're going to meet in the middle.
Look, the only third legs I think about are ones that have caused filming issues. Like Brandon Routh needed a harness for his filming, and Willem Dafoe was so big that they had to get a body double because the director thought that he was just too big for the part.
Oh, he had a penis double. You're right.
And it was Jesus. It was the Jesus part, right? Like the Last Temptation of Christ.
I don't remember what movie it was.
Yeah.
It was religious, but I think it was the other. I think it was like a demon or a devil or something. I don't think he was Jesus.
No,
you're right. It was some kind of religiously thought. I gotta look.
He was Jesus.
Well, then if he's Jesus,
what exactly are you going to search, Oz?
William Dafoe movie.
Look, I was really curious about that. I was like, what's this fool about to put into the internet? I'm like, we need to close up on Oz's face.
Willem Dafoe Willie.
Willie Dafoe?
I'm on enough lists.
Look, while search is that, Mo, have you watched the new Adventure Time series?
I have not, man. When did it start?
I think last week or like a few days ago. Man, it is so fucking good.
I believe it. Like especially go ahead.
Like I'm not sure if you'll take to it. Like I think you will, but I know you had a different I know you had an issue with the Harley Quinn or Batman and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
When they went PG-13, and Adventure Time's doing the same thing. They're going TV 14.
I don't mind it in the sense that like I minded it for Batman and Harley Quinn in the sense that it was a little jarring because the series wasn't PG-13. But looking back at it, like some of those like heavy moments in it could have been R. So it's like it like I'm not as hey, get out of here, man. Get out, man. Yeah, like, bring out the spray bottle.
You're Willie.
Hey, yeah, but it's I with Adventure Time, like I feel like that is one of those properties that is like made to kind of grow too. So it's like even if it didn't for whatever reason, it can if they they could do a series 20 years from now and they're all old, like there's one episode where it grew like 3 generations or something, and then he went back through that hole. Like that was such a good episode.
Right.
Pillow World, and he like had pillow babies and they ate pillow food, and it's so good.
Yeah. It's cool. There's some mild swearing.
Yeah.
And Fiona does the 2-finger salute.
Because that's right too. Like it's Fiona. It's Fiona and Kate now, right? For this.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. No, I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah. I mean, we do see some of the other characters,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's gonna be their show. Ice King is gonna be a big part of it, though.
Cool.
I
got to bring my little Ice King statue and put it up here so you guys can see it.
Yeah, it's great. There's blood now, so when Finn kills something,
nice.
It gets bloody, but it's not ridiculous. Like,
yeah,
it's just it's so good.
I even like how they got away from it. Like, I like how they handled the violence in the original without the blood, but that was like charming. But with blood, and it doesn't take.
They still don't do like blood all the time. Like, he just snaps a bear's throat.
Nice.
Like, that's not bloody.
I mean,
sounds bloody.
Yeah. And I know you're an Adventure Time fan.
Yeah.
So I had to let you know that it was out and that it was amazing.
I think I'm a Pendleton Ward fan for sure. Because I've been catching myself rewatching Midnight Gospel.
Okay.
Especially after my dad died. It's like it hits different. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. So, did you figure it out yet?
Yeah, it's Antichrist.
Antichrist.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Lost Mo. Like most anti. Like I was afraid what was gonna happen when the lights came back on. I was like, is this fool gonna just be like a devil all of a sudden? Like, no.
Like the Undertaker's coming out.
Lord, no.
Also, Jay would be interested to know Burt Ward famously had a large package for television.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was the 60s, so
Holy kazookie.
The network did something like complained about him being in tights because his bulge was too much.
Yeah, people in the 60s were pretty sensitive.
So you can add that to your list of famous penile.
The ones that he's going to think about around the holidays that aren't mine. Look, next time I'm filming something for you and you need a tripod, don't ask me.
It's too funny, man. All right, should we go ahead and make this happen? Y'all ready?
Yeah, what are we doing first?
Let's we probably should start with my adventures with Superman. Let's do that.
So
no, it's more about gel coat.
When the fourth round,
don't you call it?
Does it look good already? Jumbo Scampi for limited.
I agree. Thank you. All right. My Adventures with Superman.
He didn't play that twice.
Please don't. It's too long. It's too long. Yes. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Who wants to basically sum up what this series is all about? Who feels up to it?
I can. Or if you want to do it, go for it.
Oh, I can. If you want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So it's an anime version of Superman showing him basically an anime origin story for Superman where he's just coming to Metropolis. He doesn't have all his powers or know where he comes from yet. And he's trying to be normal, but of course he goes to Metropolis, and that is the epicenter of all the crazy shit. So it's him, Jimmy, and Lois trying to track down stolen technology that criminals are using to commit heists as Superman is learning to control and use his powers for good.
Yeah, that sounds like it. So, you know, I think let's go to you, Oz. What are your thoughts on this show? Like, you're our resident DC Comics aficionado, right?
This show is not for me.
It's not for
It's
us.
absolutely not made for me, and
Okay.
does all the things that annoy me you could possibly do in a TV show.
Like what, Oz? Like it does. It does. Look, you lost Jay. Jay's like, I'm out.
Hashtag not my Jimmy.
Dang.
And I've had that complaint for years.
But you've been watching Supergirl.
I didn't say I like that part.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when you get that Jimmy,
he's that guy is obviously a very handsome and powerful man, and I enjoy watching him just be on a platonic, I admire the human body level.
You wish he was Nate Steele?
I don't know who that is. No, but it bugged. Like I think I said it when he first showed up. Like he was way too smooth, way too suave. He eventually becomes a superhero himself, which is also bad. I mean, he's not.
You're talking about Supergirl right now, right?
Yeah, he's not. Superman's little pal. He's basically Perry White at that point in that show. Like he's not just this kid that likes to take pictures. So that bugged me, and that show went downhill fast. But yeah, but then this show, like just takes it a step further. They start trying to throw in stuff that, well, first of all, Jimmy should be younger than Superman. They're putting them at the same age. Like it looks like they're college, like they're college buddies or whatever. And the way his character acts, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to do that annoying friend trope thing, but they just don't pull it off right. He's acting more like the guy from Lower Decks, which also annoys me. Then on top of that, his constant
Lower Decks annoys you, or it annoys you that he acts like the guy from Lower Decks?
Or which guy from Lower Decks annoys you?
The guy with the thing on his face.
Yeah, the engineering dude.
Yeah. Like it's fine that character is like that because it's not a character that I know. But when you make Jimmy Olsen be like exactly like that character, now it starts to bug me even more than the other character. His constant name dropping of Flamebird is really just like it's like stabbing me every time he says it. Because I know what the reference is supposed to be. No one else knows or cares what that reference is.
Is it the Nightwing reference?
The Kryptonian Robin.
Yeah. Krypton had a Batman and Robin,
right.
And Nightwing and Flamebird.
Nightwing and Flamebird. Okay, got you.
Like we get
Yeah,
No,
but then why?
we do, but I mean, the audience that this is made for doesn't get it.
It doesn't matter. Like, look, if it's not made for you, and it's not the people that it's made for don't get it, and the people that do get it, like, what's the problem?
Well, you're asking me what I didn't like about it. I'm telling you, I don't like that they're just throwing in these names to try to get, oh, look, we said something that's in the comics. Aren't we cool?
Aren't we cool?
It's just so many things. Like whenever they have a flashback to Clark Kent as a kid, he's wearing glasses like that. Like nobody looked at that and said he doesn't need glasses. Like why the fuck does the kid have glasses? Even if you try to make the argument that, well, it's before his powers kicked in. No, because his powers were kicking in and he's still wearing the glasses. So it just does a lot of stupid things like that. I don't like one of the episodes had what's her face? Banshee. I didn't like that it was Tech Banshee.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like the actual cursed magical.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of the villains are going to be tech villains.
Well, how much of it did you watch?
The first 3.
Oh, get the fuck out!
I forced myself to watch that third one
Dude.
the first one was like a 2-parter, and I did not want.
No
like,
wonder
I was
you
done. But I figured, no, these guys are gonna give me hell if I don't at least watch the next one.
No, you like honestly, I'm gonna give you hell still because you need to watch at least 6 episodes.
Aren't there only like 6?
No, there's 10.
No, there's 10.
10? Oh my god!
But at the 6 episodes, you're like, I was in the first episode, then I saw Silver Banshee, and I was like, and then I watched the third, and I'm like, and the fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and I'm like, oh shit, this is better than comics.
I will say the villains actually do evolve. Like they start off tech, but they end up being able to harness their powers without it towards the end.
But realistically, Silver Banshee is still not what we would want for Silver. Like being a Silver Banshee fan, and I can see Oz's like disdain when he brought her up, because that's how I felt watching this. Like I really like this show, but I hate this aspect of it. But in the end, I ended up enjoying it. Like I just put it off to the side and just focused on the story, and then went back. But realistically, like I still want a magical Silver Banshee.
Yeah, I mean, and it's a lot like Blue Beetle. The Superman stuff is fine. Lois Lane is a little bit annoying, but she's kind of young. I hope,
dude. But like
in the third episode, she gets an interview with Superman. I hope that's not the published interview that gets her the Pulitzer. She's supposed to be a seasoned reporter by the time she gets that.
She is. If you would have kept watching, I'll leave it like this. She is the doofus Rick of the Citadel of Lois's.
Wow, see, I don't know if I like that. I was gonna say she is a little bit.
Look, you got to watch it. Yeah,
No, I don't. If they're doing that to my Lois, nah.
Dude, it's like it goes into this whole multiverse aspect that in a way that it's like it could. I even told Emily watching it, I'm like, I really could have. I would have liked instead of the Legion of Lois's, if it was like the Legion of Superheroes like that came and did this, I would have liked that better. But that's the traditional shit that I've been getting every time they do something like this, and this is different. So I'm like, you know what? This is a good way to do like where all the universes where Superman went rogue, and they needed to figure out how to stop him, and they used her because she's the stupid Lois. Like to fight Mixel Spitlick is like is the shit. Yeah.
Right, so they go into a multiverse thing,
like for an episode or
in
so.
that.
But they mentioned
like
that,
they warn
they mentioned
they
that
warn
like
about
the Loises I love are out there. We're just not watching those,
right? Like Lois Prime is like everybody's Lois. Like Lois Prime is like I think from the first cartoon.
How's
the OG
Prime?
like Schuster, So it like even the art style is like OG Joe Schuster art. Yeah.
All right, I might go back.
That was definitely
the Superman Lois stuff is fine. Superman does Superman things. That's good too.
Look, you haven't even got to the Superman and Lois things yet.
Sort of. They're already making eyes at each other and having moment. They're having a cute little moment, and then here comes Jimmy.
You know what? Keep talking about what you like and don't like about the show. I'll do it in my segment because you really have you've only really gotten to like
they
you know what? No.
Intergang, and it's like 3 teenagers.
Hey, look, you're only at the pre-cum stage in your genes.
I mean, sometimes that's enough to get you pregnant.
To regret it. You don't get the full fun. You should have seen to episode 8 and get the full fun. Yeah,
I got the full smell. I mean, I'm out.
Maybe that's just what it is for you. But yeah,
I mean, you're convincing me to keep watching it because I really was. I forced myself to watch that third episode.
It really I think anybody that would have liked it, I defy anybody to watch all 10 episodes and say they don't like it. You can watch the first 3 and be like, I don't know, it's not for me. But I defy anybody to get to 6 and then be like, it's not for me. Like maybe they could be like, it's not for me, but it's still good at 6. But you get to 10, you're gonna love it.
It's interesting because I will say that, you know, I don't know, like the you know, I guess what would the first 2 episodes, which are, you know, part 1 and part 2, you know, it's a different take on all the characters to a degree. I personally feel like it encapsulates the spirit of most of the characters that they put on the screen. But I could see potentially somebody that's like, hey, I want it to be super, super traditional. Like those first 2 episodes not necessarily winning people over. Even though I liked them personally. I was like, oh no, this is actually pretty cool. But I agree with Mo where it's like, once you get deeper into what it is that they're doing for the story wise, I feel like, and you know, maybe episode 3 isn't the one that'll win you over, but it might.
So
you know, like it could.
It's like a traditional anime where you just gotta get through the first few hours of it till it gets good.
Honestly, like this series is people that loved like once you watch episode 1 through 10, it's people that love Superman and love Dragon Ball Z. Like, and that's like that's what this series is.
Yeah, and Jay hit the nail on the head when you're like, it's anime Superman. Like you can tell that it is people that really love anime because, like, with the way that the fight scenes kind of play out and whatnot, like the action definitely has more of a
design,
and the way he's like incrementally getting his powers.
Right. But at the same time, it's still. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
It's an ending credit crawl. It's very
yeah.
The intro music. The intro music is like J Rock, but like American J Rock, which is just American rock, which is just rock.
I was gonna say, even with the credits at the end, they're still actually pretty creative. Mm-hmm. Where it's like Jimmy walking, and then they have the photos of like things that have been happening. But then, like, there's an episode where Jimmy gets kidnapped, and like he's not on that ending credit screen. So it's like they're really paying attention to what they're doing. Like,
yeah,
they made Spitlick a woman.
No, they made him Grand Kai.
He's blue, but he's not a woman.
Oh, he looks like a woman in the picture.
Yeah. Just like the Grand Kai, like they're androgynous. Hector Chat.
I like their take on the bowler hat.
Yeah, I fucking love that shit. Like, it like. No, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
No, that was what I was saying. Like, Mrs. Spitlick, I wasn't. It was one of those things where I'm watching and I'm like, I'm not sure if I like this, but you know, I've liked everything else, so ride with it. And then he gets the bowler hat. It's like, wow, that is some anime shit right there.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah. Like they pay tribute to what came before and through the redesign. Like the bowler hat is, when he puts it on, it's a different thing, but when he takes it out, it's recognizable across the whole multiverse. You know, because he is a multiversal character. So it's like this is how this is how you portray or how you see him here. You know, Hector Chat says if there's not a villain saying, "Oh, it's not anime," and there, I think there is that.
There might be actually.
It's like Parasite at one point. Yeah, the way they did Parasite was like, man, that's a whole other take. Like I always liked Parasite and I like his motivations and everything. And here I felt like it wasn't what I wanted. And then the way it turned out is like, that's some anime shit right there. Like,
yeah,
they beat him and his like dried up crust is just there in the city as a monument still. Like that's some like My Hero Academia shit, you know?
It's interesting too, because I know one thing, like especially when I was first watching, I was like, oh man, these fools like they love Evangelion, don't they? Like you know, and I was like, why all the robots look like Evangelion? And then as I was watching further, I'm like, oh, you know what? I think I understand what they're doing now. Like, you know, like there's a reason why, you know, there's similarities, you know, like, and I'm just like, okay, I get it.
Yeah, man, like the whole thing with like Zero Day and First Impact with Evangelion, like those like character motivations, the twists that I like. Emily's like, you knew that that was gonna be it, right? And I'm like, yeah, you know why? And I told her this. Like so they call a guy a general, and he's not a white dude, and then Lois isn't a white dude. It's like, yeah, that's General Lane. They just don't call him by his name. But that's her dad. Hex says, I haven't seen the Parasite episode yet. Oh man, you're in for a treat, man. Like, but honestly, that episode was one of the lower. Like, it's a cool fight and it's a cool episode, but it's like it's definitely like a different take on Parasite. So if that shit bugs you, like this is one of the episodes that'll push you away. But if you keep it with it, I took a pause after that episode for like 3 episodes to get back. I'm like, yeah, they're diverting a lot. It's very different, and I'm not used to liking different things.
Right.
So it's like, but in the end, like I just watched the rest of the episodes like in one. Like I think from 6 to 10, I watched in one sitting. And, it was a great time. I cried. I laughed. I cried. I cried. Like
one of the things I was worried about them doing is like not giving Jimmy enough screen time, but they've actually used him and Lois. Honestly, I was surprised at how well they used her. They used them both really effectively.
Yeah,
I was impressed. It's like there's no point where I'm like, why is Jimmy in this show?
Right.
And that's not always the case.
I never felt like Lois is there just for Superman to rescue her, and I never, and that's what Jimmy and Lois usually are there for. Like even like the comics, like I love Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen comics. Like I love those, and you get like a little bit of that here in a sense. They did an episode that was just the Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen episode with the gorilla, and it was like, man, are they going to introduce the fourth world right here, right now? Like, because that's what one of the things that happened in those comics, and I'm like, and they literally like primed it so that they can, if these fucking writers decide to like do their shit right and accept AI.
You crazy. But no, I mean, and I think that
I don't think
like
we're getting a second season soon because of the strike.
Right. It's interesting,
right? Like, wasn't he already talking shit? Like, season 2 is gonna blow people's minds.
Probably. I don't know if they're affected.
He's already speaking on season 2.
Okay.
But and this might be like the kind of thing here where this is where you might gain some fans and lose some fans. Is I feel like the show is very intentional in the sense that it's like we want the spirit of all these characters. We want the spirit of Superman. Like we want this show to feel like a Superman show, but they don't want to do all the things that the Superman shows that have come before it have done. And it feels very much intentional in the sense that they're like, okay, like even like Oz, they mentioned before the multiversal, kind of aspect of things. And like there's literally, when you have Mitchell Spitlick talking about the different versions of Superman throughout the multiverse that he knows, they like literally show each of like the animated Superman versions, like the OG cartoon and like the animated series cartoon, and like
unlimited, like
like they show like 3 versions of Superman or whatever, right? Like the Super Friends version or whatever, like but it's like it feels like that like they did that. It feels like because like not because, but it's like the show feels like the people that made this show actually did watch all those cartoons, and it feels like they watched them,
all those comics.
Right? No, absolutely. I feel like they've read Superman comics as well, but I feel like they're like, but they're reading them because they're like, we want to make sure that and watching that stuff because they're like, we know like these are good Superman stories that have been told, and we want to have that similar kind of feel, but we don't want to do the exact same things that they've seen already. And that it feels like honestly like a perfect kind of balance to me, where it's like making sure that something can feel like it is like you recognize and appreciate the source material, but at the same time making a conscious effort to do something different, and like it's okay because it feels right. But again, I think that is a thing where it's like it kind of depends on how willing you are to accept something different, or a deviation, because honestly, it's like if you had asked me, I would not have I don't know that if you had asked me about these choices, I would have said, yeah, you should do that. That makes sense to me. I probably would have said no. But watching it and seeing it executed, I'm like, actually, this turned out really good. Like I'm enjoying it, which I wasn't certain I would.
That reminds me, like one of the things that they do change from other Superman shows is they don't drag out the secret identity.
Right.
Overlong.
Yeah.
Like I love that. That we got that out of the way. Like that is like one of the hardest parts to watch of a Superman show generally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the fact that they get it over with and do it naturally and it makes sense and it just worked. Yeah, it worked for me. Like I enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, and what it does is it opens up to like doing it the way they did it. It kind of opens things up for you to tell a different set of stories with Superman that you don't usually get to really tell. Like at least not in this point.
I told Larry because back in the New 52 days, like they had the young cub reporter Clark Kent, like, and this is kind of what this is. Like this should have been that comic book, like it could have. This would have been. We read that comic, the Grant Morrison one, the George Perez one. It's like they weren't this good, and. They weren't like, George Perez writing and drawing his own book. Like, man, like R.I.P. Like, he's dead, and I don't want to speak ill of the dead, but realistically, like that book wasn't this good, like the way like when Jay talks about like handling the secret identity thing, like Emily was always like, it's always stupid because everybody just thinks it's like, oh, he takes off his glasses, oh shit, you're Superman, and he puts them back on, and it's like, oh, you're Clark Kent, and this show handled that like so natural and still with that in it, that's why he's like, oh, well, they're showing him with his kid with glasses. It's like, nah, it comes into play because it shows how stupid that is. When they actually do find out, like even at the end when he has to tell Jimmy like that he's super, he's like, oh, I know the day we went to like college, like you're like, the doorknob the screws must have been loose and the doorknob came off, and he's like, dude, the doorknob broke in half. Like it's like I know you were strong and super, and it's like you're just my friend. That's all I give a fuck about, And that's like that's a big theme here too. That it's like he is different, and he's being like the more different he's becoming, the less people are trying to accept him, or the powers at play are wanting to reject him more, and it's like that little aspect. It's like this Superman, like when they play on the multiversal fact that the Legion of Loises are there because these Supermans went bad, is is fucking tight, because this Superman could go either way at this point, like he's like, I need you to help me find the dude that tried to kidnap me and kill me, and he's like, oh, it's my dad, you know, and it's like, oh shit, you know, and it's like he could easily go bad, you know. The whole shit with Jor-El, the way they handled Jor-El, they had the Kryptonian language, like it's like, yeah, it doesn't make sense that hold on, sorry, I got dog issues right now.
No problem. It was just funny because it was like one of those things where the way that that mixed in with what you were saying, it was almost like expressive. That's all. I'm sorry.
No, I wish I would have thought that out, but no, I'm trying to keep them from killing each other.
Got it.
But yeah, but it is it is one of those things where the way they handled that, the romance is the big thing, because that's my big thing with superheroes. It's like when they reveal, oh, I'm this guy with these amazing powers and you're my woman, you know. And the way they handled it here, like, you know, they did it in the Expendables with Jason Statham. It's like, she's like, oh, my boyfriend here is a biker, and then these dudes are fucking with her, and then he just uses fucking Jeet Kune Do and shit and fucks these dudes up in the basketball court, and she's like, who are you? You know, like, that shit's amazing. Like, that's a male power fantasy, you know, and it happens in comics all the time, you know. Right. The big reveal. That's the big thing with superhero comics, and here it doesn't play out that way. It actually is a romance. Like, they're growing. The more they go in through these problems together, the more they get connected and intertwined, and their love grows. And it's like that romance is a way, and it's still doing the thing where it's like, I'm Superman, but it just doesn't have the gravitas in the male power fantasy. It just has it in like, oh yeah, I know, but I love you despite that. You know, like, it's almost like that's a point against Clark at this point. It's like, oh, you think you're all that? No, I knew that already. Like, you can't hide it from me. You can't lie to me about you can't lie to me about this. You can't lie to me about this other bitch. You know, so it's like, I love that.
It's actually really funny, because she basically does like Superman 2. Lois jumps off a building to try and get Clark to like prove he's Superman.
Yeah,
and you know, they're talking, and she's like, "Do you really think I would expose your secrets?" And he's like, "Well, you just jumped off a building. I don't know what you're gonna do."
Yeah. One thing that they do in this too, that I find that they, like, you know, you don't necessarily see it that much. I honestly, throughout Superman media, is that, like, Superman or Clark Kent, whichever way you want to go, is like really into Lois Lane, and like he like says that often. Like, you know, no one like Superman and Lois Lane, you know, Superman always likes Lois Lane, but, you know, it's almost like one of those things where, you know, Lois Lane will talk about Superman and like how great he is, but you don't necessarily hear Superman talk about how great Lois Lane is. He just likes her, you know? And this show, it was something I noticed where I was like, dang, like, he really is like into her. And that's like pretty cool, because, and it's like the things he likes about her, like, are interesting. Like, you know, like, I mean, there was a point I remember, like, actually in the same episode where they go looking for Jimmy, and he's just like, listen, he's like, I need your help. You have like the best investigative mind of anybody that I know. And he's just like, you know, and I can't do this without you. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that's pretty cool, because it's like, you don't necessarily get to hear Superman talking about Lois Lane in that way, where he's like, you know,
it's
like,
attraction,
and so
it's attraction, admiration, and respect.
Right. Right.
Like, these people are too young to look at that in their foreign.
Yeah, right. Attraction, admiration, and respect is a good way to put it. I think that's what it is, and it's like that comes across in the writing, which I'm like, man, like, you know, yeah.
Sorry,
okay.
I had to pause to think about it.
I was just like, dude, like, please don't come back a demon. Like, like every time, I'm trying not to.
I'm trying not to. But yeah, in this series, you get a lot of that, and it's just the way it progresses too. Like that, there's that episode, and then it moves forward. And dude, like when they told each other they loved each other in 2 different episodes, and I cried both those times. And Emily's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing. It's my allergies." You know, but it's really like that romance. The romance is like they didn't when they try to reinvent things and reimagine things, they put too much of something. I feel like this series like reimagined, and then added the romance in there, and the friendship, the Superman, the Spider-Man and his amazing friends stuff, like that kind of motif, and then the anime, like they threw all that, but I feel they really balanced everything out, and the way that the series progresses is really like just the details, like the romance itself was like I could just watch a supercut of just the romance from this series. Like I love romance, and seeing
Everyone
it was
knows about Moses Magnet.
no, but seeing that like seeing that played out so well in the Superman adaptation is like that like seeing it in motion on a big screen is like what I like about, like, it's what I hate about comic movies where they don't get it right. Here it's like they did it different, and they got it.
Yeah.
And I really do attribute it, like it's sexist of me, but I attribute it because it's like female writers and female directors doing these episodes. So I said, it's like it's male power fantasies have guided Superman to the point of being the troglodyte shit you get from Batman versus Superman, but it really, like, they could have made this that movie and thrown Batman in it, like, and it would have been great, and it's like I don't know why people need to darken Superman. You never, like, even in, like, we're talking about Night Terrors later, but it's like Superman don't even play a big part in it because the shit's so grim. It's like he doesn't have a huge part in it. Like, his tie-ins, like, it's always the people with the trauma or they see the nightmare. Like, we'll get to that when we review that later. Stay tuned, folks. But in this show, it's like it really is that like the idealism, the altruism of Superman just plays out. Like, there's this scene where it's like it's literally something that happened in, like, Man of Steel, and the way he handled it is 100 times different than what he did in the movie, and it's like, dude, like, you could have just put that in that movie and the movie would have been a better movie,
Right. Yeah, I will say this, Oz. Obviously, like, at the end of the day, the joint might just not be for you, and that's okay.
He doesn't know. He can watch 3 episodes.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Is I would
in the first one.
I would agree with that. Like, ideally, a good show will be good right from the start, right? And but what I will say is, as many episodes of Supergirl as you watch, I would say at least give this
Stargirl. They actually give Stargirl a shout out in it too. Like, there's a Stargirl shout out in it.
Yeah, give it another couple episodes just to kind of see if it maybe might bring you back around. Because I do think, like, the early episodes aren't the best ones. Like, they have to do a little bit of groundwork. But it's not even like they're bad to me, at least. Like, I didn't think the first episodes were bad. I just thought that as the series progressed, the episodes got better. So I'm like, oh, wow. Like,
I'm not even knocking Stargirl. Like, it sounded like I was, but I'm not. But it if you like Stargirl, like, you can handle 10 of these episodes.
The heck's totally wrong.
What does he say?
He says My Adventures is greater than CW Superman. Not Superman and Lois.
No, I really feel like My Adventures with Superman is a good prequel to Superman and Lois.
I could see
Like,
that.
they have the same vibe. Like, it's about like that. Just
He's
the way that
definitely romantic Superman with Lois. And
Yeah,
like, they talk about stuff that he's done in their relationship, and it's
yeah. And that's like like Superman and Lois, like I cannot knock at all.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is like they even shot it like the Snyder cut with the anamorphic lens and everything just to give you that feel. But the story was there better, and it's like just the scene where Superman is flying through the city and hears that she has cancer because he can hear his super hearing, and he's like, and it's dude like. That just that episode that wins the Pulitzer, like that wins the Eisner. That moment wins everything for me. Like that cemented that series could go bad and I don't care. Like I've always seen it's still a best live action Superman series ever.
Yeah. It says a lot that I really enjoy the show, even though they've ruined like so many great characters.
They didn't ruin that many great characters. Like who'd they ruin?
Bizarro. That they
Superman and Lois? Sorry, I thought you were talking about.
No, not My Adventures. No.
Yeah.
Look, I only saw one that they ruined.
Yeah.
No, actually, Livewire. I that was supposed to be Livewire in the first.
Yeah,
episode.
That Livewire is definitely weird, but they're all tech people, but it comes into play later, and it's very anime-y.
Yeah,
and, like even the way they handle, like or will handle Brainiac. But Burr 11 says, "I always love the contrast of backgrounds between Jay and the other three."
Yeah. Shout out to Burr.
Getting some disc plates, but we'll see.
There it is. All right.
Reminded me of another scene that I really liked. Actually, it's even more than a scene, but once Superman discovers his super hearing, is like,
dude, I love that episode so much. Like, it's almost like I don't want to say it's like, I don't know. I've had those moments where I've taken a substance that like allows me to like reach into parts where I can't reach, and I'm like, okay, and I want to do everything at once, like whether it's a stimulant or a psychedelic, and it's like the way they handled him with it, and it's like his need to just keep like saving cats from trees, like just because he could hear them meowing in distress. It's like
that was a funny scene.
It was a funny episode. Like that was a whole episode. Like that's the whole reason they caught him slipping is because he was listening to everything at once. Yeah.
So
man, Tarklaw's hitting up in both chats.
Yeah, man.
I will say that another thing that I should mention that I don't want to forget is Jack Quaid's performance is actually really good.
I just like that Jay keeps clicking on the chats while you're talking. While you guys talking about something else. We never actually read it.
It was me.
But yeah, I just like I'm just like it's. If you had asked me again, it's like one of those choices where if you had been like, "Hey, should we cast him as Superman?" I don't know if I would have picked him, but listening to what he's done, I'm just like, dude, like he's actually really good.
He's been Superman for a while though.
Has he?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and what else?
This first time.
Oh, what else is he Superman in?
He's been in a few of the animated joints. Like I can't think off the top, but
okay.
Yeah, this definitely isn't his first time around.
I didn't realize, and who knows? He might have gotten better at it. Maybe I didn't like him as much in one of the other ones. I don't know. I don't know.
Or it was like I feel like his performance here is more of like he's just Clark trying to be Superman. Like because that's part of this whole series. It's like Clark. Like Superman is like, I have these powers, but I just want to be a regular person,
Yeah.
I don't want to make a difference necessarily, but he has his altruism and he has the idealism and his upbringing. And he's like, you know what? Somebody needs help. I need help. And when it comes to fighting, he's like, you know what? I don't want to beat you. I just don't want anybody to be hurt. You know, and that right there is like, fuck. Zack Snyder couldn't get that shit. Like, come on, man. Like these chicks read Marv Wolfman. They read fucking, you know, like the dude that did what's his name? I'm blanking on old dude's name, but the dude that did Incorruptible, Mark Waid. Like,
Mark Waid, yeah.
Like this is literally like people that were influenced by Mark Waid.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
In anime
Mark
or
Waid, Marv Wolfman. You know, yeah, I agree.
That idealist Superman, like
even
Josh Williamson, like I give him props because in Night Terrors, it's like, dude, like the reason Superman can't like be a huge part of this. I haven't read the Action Comics Night Terrors yet, but I will. But you know, they don't play a big part in the main title, and it's for a reason, because it's like this fool's nightmares are probably just like they're not what human nightmares would be like. You know what I mean? Like he's detached from it. So
hey, listen,
I don't know. I'll get to that later. But
actually, yeah, we'll talk about it later. But yeah. So, but what were they saying in chat? What was going on in chat? Okay.
Wait, real quick. I was trying to see what else he was in Superman in, but I can't find anything. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else, but I could have swore he played Superman before.
Nah, he's the dude that's Boimler. He's Boimler, and he's the dude from The Boys.
Yeah, I know. Like
I had to tell Larry like that he wasn't Randy Quaid's son, because he didn't know that Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid were brothers.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
But I mean the way they handled this, the way they wrote Clark, the way they wrote Superman, like it really was like, I don't want any of this. Like it's too much responsibility, you know. Like I love that. I love that aspect of it, where he's like, and then in the end, he's like, I just don't want anybody to get hurt. Like I have all this power, I don't want to fight anybody. I just don't want people to get hurt. I don't want any more people to die. I don't want any, and that's some Dan Slott Spider-Man shit. You know, man? Like that's the ideal. Like, and that's what you go for Superman. Like that's what you want from Superman.
How was Deathstroke in this? Because I just found out Jerry's Deathstroke.
He is not like, he's literally just watching in the background. Like that's season 2 shit.
Jerry from Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
Chris Parnell.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
he's good for what he does, but he's really just like all right, Oz. Like I'm gonna spoil it for you. They're using General Lane.
Surprise.
General Lane was there at First Impact, like Evangelion. So they use him to target like all these metahuman shit and use all these like tech and all this stuff. So, but they're really like not setting him up to fail, but they're experimenting with him. And then once he fucks up, because in the end he's gonna fuck up, he's going after Superman. They're like, okay, you're out, and it's Deathstroke and Amanda Waller. They're gonna take over. Like they screwed him out of the thing. So Deathstroke was just in the background with Amanda Waller. Like he's not fighting nobody necessarily. Like he's not.
I was just wondering because it was Chris Parnell. And I call him Jerry because sometimes if I say Chris Parnell, people are like Soundgarden. Although
I feel like Deathstroke is probably one of the least recognizable people.
He's the more animated dude of the show.
Yeah.
It took a while for me to figure out that's who that was.
Right, exactly, and that's like
you can look at Jarrell in this series and be like, they made Jarrell Deathstroke.
That's actually pretty funny, but no, and that's the whole thing where it's kind of like it's interesting because I feel like every other character.
Oh, that was like, Deathstroke.
Yeah,
exactly. See, that's what I'm saying.
He with his like emo hair.
Yeah,
fucking. they would have given an eye patch, I would have been like, is that Deathstroke?
No, but they couldn't give him an eye patch because Jor-El had an eye patch.
Like, there's more than one eye patch in the world. Like, like
look, I read Ravager, Night Terror's Ravager. I read there's no eye patch there.
Do they say what?
But at one point, he does have something over his eye, like on his helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like even
I saw him in, it was just the emo hair over there.
Right.
Like looked goofy to me. I didn't know that's what they were trying to do.
I don't look, and that's a weird thing. Like, they shouldn't be trying to do that.
You're
Like,
right. He was the least recognizable.
Yeah, 100%. And even when he gets his costume and all that, it's not like you're like, oh, okay, now he's Deathstroke. It's like it still doesn't look like Deathstroke,
right?
Huh?
His hair's still not white, right?
But still, yeah, but still, like, like Deathstroke, you don't necessarily need because Deathstroke has versions of the costume without his hair out, so. And that's what this is, but you're not gonna look at it and be like, oh, that's Deathstroke. So. And I feel like every other character, you can at least kind of get a little bit like, okay, that's that person. That's supposed to be that person. But Deathstroke is not one of them.
Like Silver Banshee, I only recognize because of the name. Like when they called her Shaban, I'm like, oh shit, that's Silver Banshee. So like,
and that's why, like, they call the dude Slade, so who's supposed to be. But I was just like, man, like that guy does not look like Slade, like he's not a Slade Wilson at all. So but the character in and of itself is not uninteresting. It's just it doesn't jibe well with the comic book version. So.
Yeah, but realistically, it's like, I mean, with all the iterations too, like it's like we got all these weird ones. Like I literally had Stormwatch coming after Ravager.
Mm-hmm.
In these Night Terror books, so it's. I'll allow it. Like that's the like, if anything, that's the worst part of it. But I'm not as invested in that part of it. I'm more invested in Superman, Clark becoming the savior of the world, like Jesus. Like I'm watching I'm reading the books between how you say, like between Matthew and Lucas, like. the when he was between 12 and 33 years that I didn't see. That's what I'm watching here with my Adventures of Superman.
Oh, the Apocrypha type.
Yeah, the ones that aren't in the Gospels.
Right.
His life, like that's what I see here. So I'm gonna fuck about no Slade Wilson until season 2 when he comes out and be like, hey, what the fuck? But I'll get there then. Tiger Claw says, you think they will do another series in this vein, like My Adventures with Batman? I don't think. I don't think they lend themselves to that. I mean, maybe if you did like the 70s Wonder Woman, you could have like the girl shows like that. Everybody's being a girl. And they don't know that she's fucking people up, but that one would work. But I don't think they would do that. Just like it doesn't fit because that's not what they're doing with Wonder Woman in the comics. You know what I mean? Like, and then with Batman, it's like Batman's got no friends. Like he's got a family. Like, he just has family and not family, and that's it. Like it's not like he's got no friends. So
that's my favorite line from the Batman movies.
I don't have friends. I got family.
Yeah, like realistically, like if that was animated with Batman saying it, it would fit. Like it makes sense. But this motherfucker literally like cried at the funeral for Paul Walker. This fucker has got friends. Like he was mad his friend was fucking his sister in one of those movies, right? Like,
I mean, Jim is his friend, right?
Who?
Jim
Gordon.
No, that's a work acquaintance. Like that's that is a logistical union, but they're not. They're technically enemies. Like he wants to arrest him, but he needs him, so he's just
Gordon. I don't have on him on a dime.
Really, yeah. And the thing is, here's the thing: if he didn't do that, Batman wouldn't respect him because he would think he's a corrupt cop. You know,
I think it depends on what version of Batman you're talking about, but
no, the ideology of Batman, the Bat ideology is that like that's across everything. Like if different writers change it, that's different. But the Bat ideology is that like if they have a working relationship, you help me, I help you, I scratch your back. They're being mobsters with territories. That's all they are, you know. And Larry, like you know, the cops. It's easier to deal with them as mobsters than it is
the closest thing. The closest thing to a friend he has is Superman, and even that he's still like he's constantly pushing Superman.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you the moment you go rogue. That's why I need you all to watch the rest of this, because it's like literally they give the people the people that give the people that have the power to take Clark down in this series are the people that love him the most, not the people that need to protect the entire planet. So it's like if they introduce a Batman to the series, it's going to be a whole different thing. You're already tearing up. I saw you. Yeah, I got to you with that moment. Yeah, I saw you get your eye. Yeah.
You also got me a little hard, but I can't show you that.
That's fine. I know you're hard. I can see you quivering.
I do think that if this series is popular enough, they might consider another one. Like, especially because it does feel like.
Well, Jay said they're talking about another one already on the internet.
Well, he said a second season of this show.
Okay.
But
I'm already confirmed. Supposedly they're working on it.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is like another series with another hero. Like I don't know if they'll do Wonder Woman, but they could do Batman. And especially like, you know, it's like it could be something along the lines of like how they had, you know, Superman, you know, the animated Superman series, and then they had Batman the animated series. Like I could see them having like a companion.
I hate it already.
It'd have to be like somebody that can be a little wackier, like Flash or maybe even a Green Lantern.
I was thinking a Green Arrow, like my adventures with Green Arrow.
I mean,
yeah, look, you do the CW thing where you get a Batman show without really having Batman in it.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Jay?
Oh, they did introduce Vicky Vale.
Yeah.
So it would make sense to kind of move over to Gotham.
And realistically, I don't think they could do this type of show or this universe could do a Batman series in a way that it doesn't have to be like My Adventures with Batman, but it could be a Batman in this universe.
Right.
I would take it. I would take it.
Yeah.
I feel like Prey in this style.
A Birds of Prey.
Oh, yeah. That would work really well.
Wow.
I almost feel like it would be like that Robbins book that we reviewed earlier in the year. Like that would fit this style really well.
Interesting. All right.
I think you're right. A Gotham City Sirens would do good with this.
Mm-hmm. Hex says Adventures with Robin, but it's Jason Todd and Batman is just pissed at him every episode.
My Adventures with Robin. Like, you know how mad people would be? Like, just because Robin got top billing? Like, they'd be like, why is it My Adventures with Robin?
Yeah, and each season is a different one.
Oh, jeez, man. So, all right. Should we go ahead and rank this?
You could do the whole season where each Robin gets 2 episodes.
Oh.
I'd watch that.
Tag Claw says, how about My Adventures with Aquaman? That wouldn't work.
It's like it would be Jason Momoa.
That is genius.
I will say Aquaman King of Atlantis was pretty good. And it's close to this style.
Yeah, but that's also like
Did anyone watch that Aquaman King of Atlantis?
I think we watched it to talk about it on the show.
The animated joint?
Yeah. I thought we did talk about it, yeah.
Oh, did we? I don't remember.
Oh, that's how good it was.
No, I mean, I don't remember us talking about it. I remember the show. Like, the show was phenomenal.
That's how good we did a job of reviewing it.
Wait, the show or movie? I thought it was a movie. We talked about a movie.
No, it's like 3 episodes. I think they did combine it afterwards.
Okay. All right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, are you thinking of the DC animated joint? That came after Flashpoint? Or that came after War?
I don't know at this point. You're asking too many questions here. You're asking more questions about Aquaman than I care to answer in a year.
He said he was heavily medicated.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we did that one. I'm talking about.
So
they have my adventure. They have the Adventures of Aquaman.
They do?
Yeah, that's an old ass cartoon.
It's from the 60s. It's where he's writing.
The Adventures of Aquaman, not My Adventures with Aquaman. Got
Same.
No. You haven't watched the 3rd episode.
All right. Let's rate it. My Adventures with Superman. Jay, what would you rate My Adventures with Superman?
I would give it a 4. Overall, I really liked it. There was just one thing that kind of bugged me a little bit. But that probably could have been handled with just like an extra episode or 2.
Okay.
Which was what?
The city turned against them like really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that seemed to happen like a little too fast. Like, I get what they were doing, but okay, one bus accident, and all of a sudden, oh my God, this guy that's been saving us for the past month has gone rogue. It's like, maybe ask a question.
All right.
I agree. The question should be in this
episode. Indeed. Oz, what would you rate My Adventures with Superman?
First of all, Jay was right. I was thinking of Throne of Atlantis, which was a movie. King of Atlantis is a TV show. I would have remembered seeing a show with a green bearded Aquaman.
Green beard?
Yeah. See, obviously you didn't watch it either.
No.
I was gonna do just flat out 3 for My Adventures with Superman, but you guys have convinced me to keep watching it, and I'm gonna watch the whole thing, and then come back and see if I updated, if it goes up, if it goes down. If it went up, then I handled it, and it went back down. We'll see where it goes.
Okay, so you're not going to rate it right now. You're saying
what's the number
right now? It's a 3 because that's what I was going to do before. That's what I was going to give it before we started talking about it. But it's got an asterisk at the end because I'm going to watch the whole thing and then come back to you. But right now, just the first 3 episodes is a 3.
That means if people like, subscribe, hit the bell, they could get a video of you giving the full review of the series.
I'm not making that on video.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw out. I'm just gonna next episode we're gonna be talking about something. I'm just gonna say 4.
He already knows it's a 4. He already knows it's a 4.
You're making it sound like a 4. I want it to be a 5, but
yeah,
the fact that you guys made it sound like a 4 to me is the reason I'm gonna watch it and see if I was wrong.
Okay. Moses Magnum, what would you rate My Adventures with Superman?
For me, that's a 5, man. Like it's literally like, even in, I'm enjoying Night Terrors. I read a bunch of the tie-ins and shit. Like, I'm loving it. And then it's like, this is what I love from Superman. You know, every time they redo the universes, the 0 Hour, pre-crisis, post-crisis, identity crisis, Flashpoint, like they movies, you know, they can't get Superman right. Like this got Superman right, and then it's presented to me in a way where it's like, yeah, you love this is what you love about Superman, and this is what I like, what you love about Goku. Like we're putting it together, you know. So the way it's presented to me is like it's just great. Like it is for me. Like I feel like this is for me, just me. Not you listening, not you that's liking, subscribing, hitting the bell. Yeah. You might think it's a 2 or 3. For me, it's a 5 because this show is for me. Like the design of these, like these, like the tech, like the inner gang tech. It's like, oh, everybody assumes it's gonna be like, you know, apocalypse tech or whatever, like something coming over, and it's like, no, it's Brainiac coming through, and like. You know, they didn't even tell you this in the series, but you could tell it's like it's Brainiac coming through, and it's fucking Jor-El trying to protect you, motherfuckers. And then even like he's telling you, like Jor-El's telling you, like I gotta protect you, motherfuckers. And his own son's like, "Fuck you, Dad. You ain't my family. Like you know, like I don't speak your language. This ain't. I'm a Kent. You know." And it's like, and in the end, it's like, dude, like I wouldn't like. Yeah, the AI in you know, in the end, when it comes to the Fortress of Solitude, it's all just AI adapting to Superman. That's the plot convenience. This show doesn't have that plot convenience, and it becomes a different show if the Kryptonians spoke English. You know what I mean? So it's like that alone just makes it a better reimagining adaptation of Superman. And I feel like it's people that know the essence of Superman, know the essence of Jimmy Olsen, know the essence of Lois Lane, and shit, they know the essence of Perry motherfucking White. You know, it's like it proves that it's like you don't have to go greedy for Superman. Like the gender swaps don't mean or the race swaps don't mean nothing. You know, gender swaps, that might be something different. We didn't have too many of these here, but I was stuck on the foundation talk there. Sorry, but yeah, like the spirit of these characters is still here, and this is like, if I wanted to show this series to somebody as like this is what you need to know about Superman and his friends, watch this. You know, like I have no qualms with giving this to somebody as like source material. Yeah. So for me, that's a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. So I would give it a 4.5.
You bitch.
What? What? 4.5. Only because, like, honestly, like I do agree with Mo in the sense that I think it really captures the essence of Superman in a very in a way that a lot of things don't. a lot of mass media doesn't, and so I gotta give it props for that. I like what it does, or what it's done, in how it does kind of have like it feels like Superman, Lois, and Jimmy, like that relationship definitely feels like, not only is it like the central relationship, but it almost feels like all of them are the central character at different points, and that's pretty cool. You know, I think the only reason I have to do half is just because you know, some interpretations of some of the villains, it's like some of them are better or handled better than others. Like honestly, like I really liked Livewire. I thought it was like a different take, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, and it's recognizable once at the point that it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like, and so that was kind of cool. But then there's other characters like Deathstroke, where it's just like, even when Deathstroke is Deathstroking, it's just like, I don't know if that's Deathstroke. and so that's unfortunate, because it's like, hey, you know, you can't knock them all out the park, right? And maybe next season Deathstroke will be more Deathstrokey.
Well, can I try to sway you to like a 4.75?
Sure, go for it.
It's like the people they chose to do are not like, they're not your Lex Luthor, like they're not your Imperiex, like they're not your Doomsday. Like they chose a more B. I don't want to call them B level because I like all of these villains, but and they're suitable Superman villains, and
they stayed away from the mainstays for a reason. You're saying,
but they threw them at them at the same time, and so I feel like doing that with these is like, there's like, so I think that decision alone makes a series better, because it's like they didn't they chose to do like Amazo and Ivo more like the Lex Luthor part, and then and they did the shitty shit that they shouldn't have done with Lex Luthor. Like they did the shit they did with them, they did here, which is what Snyder did with Luthor. But it's like they did it, it's like it ain't Luthor. Like wait till we get to Luthor, So I think that alone, like probably for your review would probably add it a quarter of a point up. In the sense,
absolutely. Like I feel like some of the villains get a better treatment. And I think that goes back to what Jay was saying earlier too, where it's like the which I think it was Jay that said it, but maybe it was you, Mo. Like
it could be both.
It could be both, but the villains go through like transformations, like they go through stages, and it's just like watching the episode with Ivo, it's like I would not have guessed the direction that whole thing ended up going, you know what I'm saying? And so you get to like, and I was like, that's very cool, because it's like you said, it kind of did do the messed up Lex Luthor thing for a little bit, and then it's transitioned to something else, and then after that it transitions to another thing, and then when you see him later, it's like, oh, okay, he's definitely like on a whole different tip, and it's like, that's cool. Like I'm down for that. So it's not hard to convince me to add a quarter point. It's just not perfect. That's really what it was. Like I did 0.5 because I don't know, like I guess I could have did 0.9, 0.999. But it's like it's like I just think right, 0.95 there. 9.95. Go. Look, I put most lights out. But anyway, yeah, it's a good show, man. And I would,
they're not coming back on. Oh, there we go.
If you like Superman, give it a try. You definitely need to. So, all right, let's talk some comics.
For this, I was gonna do the comic book review music. I can do that as well, but I have a special intro too, so I can.
Okay, do what you do.
I didn't mix them so that I could play them simultaneously. So I'm gonna do one. I'm gonna do the regular one.
Yeah,
and then I'll do the other one.
Okay, sounds good.
Comic book
review.
Comic book
like review.
Well, not like that, but like.
No, man. These guys are cool. Fantastic Forum is good. I like them. I'm Josh Williamson, and I approve this message.
Hey, man. Classic. I will take it.
The architect.
I feel like.
Art.
Does he look like that still?
Fuck no! Like he grew a beard. He's a real man. Like he's got muscles and shit. Like, yeah.
Look, I feel like I was like, I don't think he looks like that anymore, which is so funny.
No,
when he came on,
yeah, he loved us then because we looked like him. Now he's like, fuck you guys. Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny, man. That is too funny.
I love that guy.
Damn.
Man. He's so good. Like his comics have been so good for so long. You know?
Yeah.
So like
no, he's much.
That's part of the reason why, like, talking about Night Terrors, like I love like him spearheading this thing because he's a dude that knows comics, you know. And when you talk about like something like My Adventure with Superman, it's like people that love comics and love anime, or love Superman and love anime, and then you're getting it, and it's like, dude, like this is kind of what you're getting here. Like I know this dude read Sandman, but it's like, yeah, you can't use Sandman in these comics, so do it. And he's like, oh, I'll use the other Sandman. Fuck you. and he wrote, yeah. Yeah. I love Josh Williamson.
Yeah. So, listen, Oz, can you tell us about Night Terrors? Like, just remind the people what it's about.
Night Terrors is a new villain has shown up on the planet, I guess, and put everybody to sleep, and is Freddy Kruegering through their nightmares, with an agenda. I don't how spoilery are we gonna get? Although we did talk about this a lot.
Yeah.
It's over, so you can talk about it. You know.
Yeah, he's trying to go after the Justice League. He's trying to find the Nightmare Stone, they call it, which will help him bring nightmares to life. Something like that. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so he puts the whole planet to sleep. So all the DC books kind of like paused and went into like all the side. The main story is supposed to be 4 books. It's actually 6. the main stories, and all the other DC books, the Batmans, the Green Lanterns, they're all like 2 issues of just the Night Terror, what's happening during the Night Terrors, because the whole planet got put to sleep and is fighting through their nightmares. So everybody's it's like a crisis without actually being a crisis.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The way
it's in their head, like in the mind.
Yeah, the way it spans the entire planet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what happens. Like, insomnia puts everybody to sleep, and you have like a small group of heroes trying to figure out how to stop him and wake everybody up.
By the way, one of my favorite covers of the Night Terrors is the Green Lantern cover. Like I saw it, I was like, oh, it's like if Ghost Rider got a ring.
That's very cool.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's the main cover. That's not even like a special I have to pay extra for cover or anything like that.
Nice.
Cover A for you industry professionals.
So, Jay, you got to finish Night Terrors, right? Like,
the main story. I didn't get to finish all the all the side.
No one's asking you to.
Now,
no one's asking you to make sure you read all of them.
Like,
when you say you finished it, did you read Night's End?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to read everything, but there was an issue with my account and my credit card, and all my books ended up getting like refunded, and I lost like most of my entire Night Terrors library.
I'm having that problem with Patreon right now, so it might be like, did your credit card, like, what did it expire in this month?
It doesn't expire. It's like a store card.
Oh, yeah. Never mind. I don't know what you're going through.
Yeah, it was weird. It was disheartening, depressing. I really wanted to read Night Terrors, Angel Breaker.
I did too, and I have those, but I didn't get to.
Yeah, like it was just my account fucked me. Like, I don't know, but I did read the main story.
Okay, and what'd you think, Jay?
I liked it. Like, I thought it was really good. Like, and honestly, I don't read a lot of Dead Man, so I don't know if this is the normal level of Dead Man story.
Honestly, not a lot of Dead Man. It usually comes out when there's a crisis. I mean, there was, I guess, just some of him in Justice League Dark, but that wasn't not really a Dead Man story.
Right. Okay.
He has his own series, and his own, like, I remember, like, his series in the 2000s was like, like the issue, the first issue took place during Crisis on Infinite Earths, second issue Death in the Family, third issue during like Doomsday, you know, like, and so it fit it that miniseries fit him in every part of the DC universe from a 20-year span in 6 issues.
Oh, even what's his name? Even Blackest Night?
No, that was before that. Like from 2000 to from 1970 to 2000. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have done, like, there was a Vertigo series that came out in 2002, and that could have technically lasted into around Darkest Night, but I don't think they connected it. But they could have. I didn't read it. I didn't finish reading it.
Okay. But yeah, this was really good. Like, may have to look into more of his stuff.
His stuff is
on this level.
I love Dead Man. Like, I'm a Dead Man fan. Like, when they went into in issue 3 and they went to the Dream Realm and it's a red Batman suit with a big D, and I'm like, man, like, this comic book could have been called D&D. It's like Damian and even having Damian deal with Dead Man, because their personalities are like Dead Man's like ability to deal with the futility of existence is different than Damian's like nonchalantness about, like, yeah, I could die at any minute, you know. So it's like them together. It's like, dude, like that Brave and the Bold with those two is like, it was like, that issue was fucking tight. Yeah. And I'm not even a Damian fan like that, but like Josh Williamson brought that shit together where I'm like, oh shit, like, I like this. Yeah.
Like, that fool did kind of just be like, get out of my father, demon.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, why are you gonna talk to me like this? Yeah.
And just what he does with Dead Man himself. It seems like every time they use him for some kind of crisis or event, like, I learned something else about him. Like when what was that? Blackest Night. When you realize he's wearing a mask because he came back to life, he takes that off. And then this one, like, there's a couple moments where he's like, oh, they're showing you my lies. And then he explains what happened. I'm like, dude, I didn't think about that. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then the whole, I've always been the center of attention, and my punishment is that I have to watch other people live. It's like, dude, this guy, what's up? And it just shows you what a great, like, you forget what a great character Dead Man can be because you don't get a lot of Dead Man stories.
Well, look, the thing is,
Mo doesn't forget. I get, but like,
but here's the thing. It's like, as much as I know, bringing them together like this takes a good writer like Josh Williamson. Yeah, he loves us. He knows quality. So it's definitely like, you know, he knows what he's doing with Dead Man. Like, even in the first issue, like, just having the bookend, like, after each book, and then he's like, well, you know, it's a horror story. There's no happy ending in horror stories. You know, like, and it's like, oh shit. And it goes back to like the anthology Dead Man, the Halloween anthology that we did last year, where it's like we didn't like it or whatever for whatever reason. Like, it was mixed reviews, and it was just really him just watching people, and it's like, yeah, that's part of what Dead Man is. Yeah, like, he's just lingering around. He's not the Spectre, you know, but it's like he ran out his deal, but he's still here. You know, and why is he still here? And then this series kind of like puts that into play, you know?
Yeah. So, what I will like. You all know, like we've all like we not only have we talked to Joshua Williamson, but I think at different points we've all been fans of his work, whether we knew it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like whether it's like I know I was a big fan of Birthright. Like that was a great book that he did, which I'm pretty sure that was on under Image, I think. And like I mean, he wrote friggin' The Button, which like I really enjoyed that too. I gotta say, man, this event didn't do it for me. And
really,
I was yeah, I know. Listen, nothing to do with scary. Honestly, it's just one of these things where, and it's like
well, first of all, let me find like how many of the tie-ins did you read?
I read a few. Like I read like
which ones? Like rattle them off. Like because I know we tried to read. I tried to read everything for this episode.
No, I definitely didn't try to read everything. And the tie-ins that I did read for the most part were good, except for Action. I didn't like Action Comics. Yeah, and you spoke about Action Comics earlier, how you trying to go to it, and there's no Superman in that one either. So like it's like Action Comics is about Supergirl and like the super family now, right? With all the kids, or not kids, but like home chick, not Steel, but his niece or whatever, and whatchamacallit, Connor, and those people are in that. So but and that's the thing, like the tie-ins, most of the ones I read were better than the event to me. And it's not because, and the event's not written poorly. And I agree with like everything that you all said, especially in regards to Deadman itself. Like those were definitely highlights of the book. But keep in mind that the things you all mentioned about Deadman, like Deadman, while he is a big part of moving the story along, like the things that you mentioned about Deadman have nothing to do with the actual story. Like the actuals, like they're good character moments for Deadman. And even like the thing I mentioned that I liked with Damian, it's like that's like a moment inside of everything else that's happening. But the actual story of like Insomnia for me is DOA, man. Like I mentioned that before. Like I missed the first week that we talked about Night Terrors. When we first, when it initially, well, no, I won't say initially started, but when towards the beginning of the event, where I just wasn't a big fan of Insomnia. Like I didn't like his character design, and I just kind of was like, but in my mind, I was like, as the story progresses, I might be more into the character and be like, okay, cool, like this guy's like a legit bad guy, and like cool, but or I'll like him more. But I actually like, as I progress through the series, I like him even less. Like I'm just like this fool's motivations are the worst to me. Like this fool was
it's
like
Henderson.
Say what?
It's almost like the Superman, the evil Superman one, where his family died in space.
Oh, Henshaw, right? You're talking about like Cyborg Superman? Yeah. But it's worse though. Because it's like this fool was like, oh, the Justice League is fighting down the street, and they said we got to evacuate, but we don't got to evacuate because the Justice League is here. They're going to take care of it. It's like, what? and then when your whole family gets wiped out, you're like, those damn Justice Leaguers. It's like, actually, I think that's on you, dude. Like, you messed around and led your family in the wrong direction, and you should have evacuated. Like, you knew, your family didn't know, apparently. And you're like, oh, it's fine. And then he gets mad at the Justice League for his family dying. Like, I don't know, man. Like that's
Like
some
when the hurricanes come and people decide not to leave.
right.
And
Well,
then
that's what I
Right.
did. That's what I did last hurricane.
FEMA should come help us. It's like, why didn't you leave?
Last hurricane, I decided not to leave.
I mean, you're talking about the hurricane here in LA?
Yeah.
The light sprinkle?
The tropical storm, the
Hey,
quote tropical storm.
Look what happened to Burning Man.
Look, people didn't want to go get a birthday cake for their own daughters because there was a hurricane.
How old was the daughter?
Like, it's my wife. She's like my age.
She's like my age. I love it. But yeah, man. So it's just like and at the end of the day, it's like it kind of like, you know, like the Nightmare Stone as a concept. I was like, okay, that's interesting. Like, you know, you have something that's like the antithesis to the Dreamstone, but at the end of the day, it didn't really. It's like it's just a MacGuffin, and I'm just like, man, like I don't know, man. It's just I know how well Joshua
Did we figure
Williamson,
out where it was hidden?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Where?
showed it to us. It was
like limbo, like in between the dream and real world.
Yeah.
That's where Damien
Yeah.
and Deadman went.
Okay. But it
Yeah,
was at least there, like it was like on a pedestal or
No, he ripped it out of his own dead body.
the version, like a version of himself.
Like when
in
they
that
showed
realm.
Deadman like dead on the floor.
right.
The
Yeah.
sacrifice was just, you know.
So, but it was Deadman, right?
Yeah, it was Deadman,
Okay,
and
good.
he stuck
Perfect,
his
yeah.
hand in the gunshot wound to yank it out.
What I tell you, baby? What the fuck did I tell you? I got high as fuck and started reading Night Terrors. I'm like, I'm gonna get through all these books tonight. I got high as fuck, and then I woke up at like 2 a.m. I'm like, babe, the Nightmare Stone is inside Deadman. And then she's like, what? And she's like, just remember that. Like when I finish the book, like you gotta find out because the book itself, it showed that what you told me. It just didn't draw it out properly. like it looked mad confusing in the art style. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I told you, baby, my third eye found it. I found it with my third eye. It was in Deadman.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. Like it's just for me, I was like it I don't know. I guess it no part of it, like it just feels like we're going through the motions, and it's not even like it's a long story. Like it's not like a whole it Emily said he did say that. That's funny. You know, just feel like we're going through the motions to get to the end of things, and so I was just like, you know, it's not like it's poorly written.
Yeah.
It's just not. It wasn't that exciting to me, and I don't know. Maybe, yeah, like I was more excited by the villain they teased at the end of the event than I was for the one that I've been watching all this time. Like, you know. Like even the whole island thing, like I don't know, like I'm like I don't. It just I wanted to like it, but I didn't.
I did enjoy it more than you did, and Heck and Chat says Mo got high as shit and aligned his chakras and found the Nightmare Stone. So yeah, man, you don't need no superheroes. Like that's where Insomnia fucked up. Like, you know. I had been dealing with insomnia like 2 days before, so it's like I'm right awake for that shit, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But and high as fuck. So, but realistically, it's like like insomnia was as the issues progressed in the main series, he became more and more unidimensional, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I did enjoy reading like the Titans book. Actually, no, I did not enjoy the Titans book. Like that one didn't feel like it was a good read. It just wasn't like, okay, this isn't adding to this. The Ravager book, like I like how that played out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What's the other one that I read? I read a few. And ultimately, it's like I got excited about an event like this because from a business point, like the way they execute, like it's a 2-month thing. It was and it doesn't have to take up a lot of your time, but
Right.
and it's not entirely like how do you say, like it's not like you don't have to read all the side stories, but the side stories I felt like the Shazam one was good, like the Batman was good. I stopped reading the Batman because the Bat one actually guided me to where to read next, and it's like I'm not reading any of these books. So I gotta give a shout out to damn it, I don't have my iPad. But there's a dude that did a reading guide for it, and that's what what I use. Like
reading order for Night Terrors.
Yeah, because there was books I didn't know were part of it, and even in trying to get them, like they weren't at the shop, they weren't on the press site. But
I don't know if it mentions it in the reading order, but like one of the Batman books, it ends with that scene in the Night Terror books where Damian is telling, Batman's woken up, and Damian's telling him, "Oh, we've lost." Like, it shows you from it's Batman's perspective of that scene,
waking up
at Night Terrors, and it's like, oh shit.
So definitely, like the Batman one was really good for that, and then so like the dude, I gotta give him a shout out from howtolovecomics.com. Dude is Trevor Van Az, and he literally like gives you an essay on like how to read this thing, and there's a table of contents, and he says it's like you don't have to read a lot of these tie-ins, but like there's a Lazarus Planet Alpha one shot that I didn't know about. Read that first, and I think you told us about that, Larry, but you weren't here when we actually reviewed it, because I think you mentioned that, and I tried to tell George like, no, that's the free comic book thing. But I feel like the free comic book thing is what we got in the first Batman like backup story with Damian. Like that was reprinted there. But I don't know. I didn't read the free comic book day, and I didn't read Lazarus Planet Alpha. And then he gives you like Chip Zdarsky's Batman run. Like he tells you why that fits in, Dark Crisis, where that fits in. And then he goes into the actual list. And it starts with like Night Terror's First Blood, Night Terror's Batman #1, and then Ravager #1, then Joker #1, Poison Ivy #1, Black Adam #1, then Night Terror's #1. So it's like there's like 5 books that go before Night Terror's #1. And when you think of an event like Night Terror's #1, so logistically the way they did this is a little different, and low-key, like I'm okay with it. Like I like this kind of abstract way of doing it, especially if it's only going to take 2 months. It's almost like an Age of Apocalypse kind of thing. So I'm down. And like this dude, I gave him the shout out earlier. I can't remember his name now. I locked my screen, but that's like I appreciate that in the like these comic companies are they have faith in me to be able to read shit in a way they would like me to. But yeah, definitely reading the main title, like it was not the best thing, but it's better than Dark Web. Like I went all in on Dark Web.
100%.
But that's the thing. It's like
Dark Web is not the bar.
No, but it kind of is, because they're not doing anything better than that. Like, I mean, unless you're like reading, like you and I talked about the Alien and the Alien books right now. Like, it's like aside from the show, that's a whole separate show where me and Larry just like smoke weed and talk about comics. That it's just for us. It's more, yeah. So it's but like we talked about how good those is and how that universe like comes in and everything. It's like this is what they're trying to make money on it. Like, they're trying to make money on Dark Web. Nothing in Marvel tells me they're trying to make money on those Alien books. Like they're not promoting them as much as they did Dark Web. So and that's where I feel with this. It's like, this is still like these are still really like, especially the tie-ins are like really good quality books.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. And I mean, Dark Web was like I wouldn't compare it only because I feel like Dark Web it's an event book definitely, but it's an event book inside of like the Spider-Man arena as opposed to like. I mean, but it's not. It's not a. It has all those people in it, but it's not like an X-Men event, like because like X-Men had their event, or the same way how it's not a Miss Marvel event. It's like, and don't get me wrong, like I said, all those people are in it, but it's like, and I guess Night Terrors. I don't feel like Night Terrors is necessarily the big line wide crossover event. It's just more of for DC. It's kind of like it's a sub event as well, but it is still it is line wide though. It's like, so it's almost like how you have like the big summer event and then you have like the winter event almost, even though it's not winter though. It came out summer technically. So I don't know, maybe it is the big summer crossover. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it to me. It feels like it's supposed to be a smaller event, but it is line wide. And so, but yeah, Night Terrors is far better, far and away better than Dark Web. Dark Web was trash. Like, ugh. And so I don't want anybody to even think that this, like when I say, oh, I wasn't feeling it, that I don't think of it in the same way that I thought of. I didn't even read a lot of Dark Web, but the little bit I did read, I was like, man, like if I could get that time back, I would.
I read all of it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why, but you did.
Video still pending.
So, yeah, man. Oz, like, what, like, how does this rate for you in regards to like DC comic events?
I think it's up there. I think it's a good event. They were getting a little stale with the constant multiverse and all that stuff, and this is just a little bit different. And the tie-ins, I mean, they're all 2 issues. So even if you have a bad one, it's 2 issues.
Right.
You're not investing 3 or 4, 5 books of money and time and all that. It's just 2. And really all the ones that I've read have been pretty good. It's a.
Which ones did you read?
Green Lantern, the Batmans, Punchline, Nightwing. I think I had the first issue of the Titans one, but I didn't pick up issue 2.
Okay.
So
I read the Batman, the Titans, Ravager, Punchline, and
by the way, Batman and Dark in Detective Comics, or
yeah, Detective was a whole other thing. Like I didn't get to that one yet.
Detective's not even about Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, it's not. It's
that's a Jim Gordon story,
right? Which I'm excited to read. I haven't gotten to yet, but I'm excited to read. Because the issues I actually have are, the main series, the Ravager, Batman. I have the Wonder Woman one I haven't read. I have Action Comics that I haven't read. I have Harley Quinn I haven't read. I have Angel Breaker, haven't read. Superman I haven't read. Action Comics the Catwoman I haven't read. The Nightwing one I haven't read.
You read the Poison Ivy one too, right? You're talking about that one.
Well, Jay read that, and so I took his word for it, and I remember purchasing it, but it's not showing in my purchases. Maybe I'm in the same issue because there was something when I went back to read them. There was issues missing that I thought I had because I literally bought everything. Like I wanted to read everything. So
Poison Ivy is the only one I did get to finish.
Yeah.
Read 1 and 2 of, and that was good. I like that some random chick just got stuck in her dream.
By the way, the Green Lantern one, it's exactly what you would expect would happen if somebody tries to use Hal Jordan's fear against him.
Which is like every other Green Lantern book.
It basically, it's. I mean, the first issue was, like, stuff's happening and you didn't know what's happening. And then you get to the second book, it's like, you trying to make me afraid? And then it's Hal Jordan chasing the villain across the planet and beating him up. Like I think the demon or whatever they are at one point is like, oh, well, why are you following me?
Oh, the Knights of the Nightmare Knights or whatever.
Yeah, which is perfect because it made his story shorter as it should be, and it gave me a chance to read the second half of the Sinestro story, which I thought was the more interesting of the two.
Yeah, I remember you said that the first time we reviewed the beginning of the books.
Yeah, I think it's weird. It kind of ends in a cliffhanger. Like he's in the middle of some shit when everybody wakes up, but when he wakes up, he's like, I don't know why. Like he's more mad at himself for what he's like turned into, this like pussy that's scared of his own fucking shadow. He's like, I'm not supposed to be afraid, and it's time I stood up and showed everybody who the fuck I am. So
that's exactly how he said it.
Yeah, that's why you guys didn't get it, because they had to take it back and censor it. So you guys might get the censored edition, but I got the one with the curse words and the bat penis. Like, it just shows up on the side of the panel for no reason. And he's like, I'm not afraid of you.
So
I feel yeah, we should rate. Even though I would say, like, this episode, I don't know where that sound effect is, but the sound effect of Mo saying, I want all the penis, I feel like that should have been played multiple times during this episode.
I have that in a file somewhere.
I know. I want all the penis.
I don't know where that is.
I want all his penis. I want all his penis.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't purge that from the folder I sent you.
No, fuck.
There it is. All right, yeah, let's rate. Let's go ahead and rate.
Well, Larry, you hate Josh Williamson like that.
That's not true at all. Like, this is why I had to preface it where I'm like, let me tell these people about all the things that this man has done that I really enjoyed. Because I would hate, like, I like not only do I like his writing, but I like him as an individual. Like, he seems like a super cool dude. Like, he was cool when we met him, and he seems like he's still that guy. You know what I'm saying? So, which is awesome, because his star has definitely risen. And so, people that get success and don't change or don't seem to change in any dramatic way, because we all change, because we all live life. But, that's always awesome. So, he says, no stands by his man. I mean, words.
Mo stands by his man.
Mo stands by. Oh, I got it. Mo stands by his man. There it is. All right. Let's rate this joint. Jay, what would you rate Night Terrors as an event?
I'm going to give it a 4. A lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool imagery. Yeah, I just really thought they did a really good job on this. I enjoyed reading it.
Cool. All right, Oscor, what would you rate Night Terrors?
I'm gonna do 4.75. I want to give it a 5, but I think if you're doing an event and you have to read all the side stories to really get like a full, you know what I'm saying? If you got to read all the side books, it's not as great an event. Like, if I just read the Night Terrors books by themselves, I probably would feel like Lawrence did, and it was good and I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't say it was amazing. The other books around it are what really, really make this a good story. So it's still definitely worth reading. They're all worth reading, but I can't give it a 5 if I got any knocks against it. And also, yeah, his whole Justice League, I hate them because they didn't save my family was kind of dumb. And I also don't like that it didn't take a whole lot for like people to turn on the Justice League either.
Well,
the
that was
dude really saying, "You're right, honey. I hate them too." Like at the end, I'm like, really? Like
that's the issue that Jay had with Superman and My Adventures.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like
Oh, My Adventures. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, but that's a trope at this point, you know? Like they're different. Like they're not
Everyone want to be.
I started this show with people hating rich people on Twitter, like, and that's literally like this is it. Like, hating superpower people is a new trend. It's like when
everyone's trying to be X-Men.
When superpower people go into a submersible to the Titanic to save the world and they die, we just laugh at them because you had superpowers, you should have survived it. Yeah.
Actually, just reminded me of this one Transformers episode, G1, where the Decepticons frame the Autobots, and the whole world like turns on them. And like the very next day, they're doing like a Decepticon Day parade.
So I guess what we're learning is that people are shit and they're they're easily manipulated.
There it is.
New variant.
Most Magnum, what would you rate Night Terrors?
For me, this is a 4. It's a 4. I love that, like, reading even the ones that I didn't enjoy as much, like different titles. I'm not gonna reiterate them, but I enjoyed reading them as part of this. Like they turned a very like unidimensional villain, and really like gave you a bunch of different stories with different people that I never thought I would read. Like Ravager, like I enjoyed her book, and it that I wouldn't have read that book otherwise. You know, so now I'm like I'm more interested in her backstory and her future story now. So, and to me, like that's what an event book should be, not just a restart of the status quo for story purposes, but really like from a business standpoint. Like it got me to buy everything and it got me to read everything. And I haven't read all of it yet, but everything I read, I enjoy. Like I enjoyed the Punchline book. Like they all had good art. Like they were all executed well. Like I've had problems in the past where it's like, they're having an event and they want me to read this book. This book's drawn by somebody shitty. Yeah, like there's no in Night Terrors. There's no shitty artists. Yeah, like the only thing that keeps me from giving it a 5 is that there's no white cover. So, like I would have bought all those straight up. Yeah,
got it.
But realistically, like, I like the story. Like it's a dead man story. Like it's a dead man event. Like he gets to see the light at the end of the tunnel finally. So for me, as a dead man, like it's like this is what it's about. Like you created this one-dimensional character you created so that my character could finally find peace. And it's not even peace. It's like he's traveling to another universe where they're going to use him whenever they restart this universe or whatever. Yeah. So as a Dead Man fan, like it's like fuck it, it's 2.5 or 5.25, 7.5.
There it is. That average up.
9.5. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd give it a 3. Like I said, it just wasn't for me. Hey, there it is. There it is. And honestly, like the parts, like Dead Man was the highlight, no question. I feel like it was really interesting seeing Sandman too, because I know that I don't have a lot of experience with that version of Sandman.
I love that too. Like I love that motherfucker.
Yeah. Right. And it was cool that it how it felt appropriate and that he did show up, and so that was cool.
Now, if you read Sandman books, like not that Sandman, not Wesley Dodds, but the other one, like this whole event was technically an episode of the Netflix series. Yeah. And they're just redoing it, and I got that, but I didn't even use that against it. But they did it different, and they used Wesley Dodds instead of like Oneros. But realistically, if this would have been I want to say maybe pre 52, like that, this would have been a different series with that Sandman in it. Yeah, because that's like literally like episode like 32 or something. Sandman was this fight, and they did it with all dialogue. And,
yeah.
Not gonna say it was better. You have to read. You have to. Read
No,
some,
you got it. You got it. You
gotta read some fucking comics for that.
There it is.
T-shirts coming soon.
Woo! All right, let's get out of here, folks. Jay, why don't you give me some final thoughts, man?
I believe if everything goes well, we should have a video coming up tomorrow. Me and Lawrence talked about the first 7 episodes of Fillmore. If you don't know what that is, it's a Disney animated cartoon, police procedural in the middle school, based on the parody 70s cop shows. If that sounds interesting, go ahead and give the video a watch. If you've seen Fillmore but haven't thought about it in a while, also give the video a watch. Should be fun. We'll reminisce, and it's a spoiler-free video. So if you are new, watch it, get primed, and then search for it because Disney Plus will not give it to you.
It's true. Bunch of savages. All right. Oscore, final thoughts.
I can't believe I'm going to watch the rest of that series. That's it. Why are you on me?
Like, you should, man. Like, you should watch the whole thing. Like, I told you, like, we're doing this.
Most Magnum, final thoughts.
I do what I do here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell. There's a new season of Snap with Loki, and Larry got me to get the Loki card today. And I've been, like, I was late to the show because I was literally butt fucking somebody with my Loki deck while I was taking a shit. So, that actual, this motherfucker played a fucking, he had a Loki deck and he played a Galactus card at the end, and I just beat him with my fucking Ronin. Like, it's like I literally could have. I didn't have to buy the season pass to beat the fuck out of him, you know. but I did, you know. And it's like, dude, you guys are, you fucking dumb fuck. If you want more for Marvel Snap, if you want more commentary and tutorials about that, like, follow. And I got like 3 down the line, and Larry saw me beat somebody, and he's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, you could have done this. Like, no, I'm just gonna control the territory. That's it. I just numbers. And he saw me, like, the dude retreated like a little fucking bitch. And Larry's like, oh, that's how you win, you know. Like, but it's like, and he's like, why do you even, like, because I did a snap at like the last like 10 seconds of the game. I just so he knows that I'm really gonna tap the fuck out of his ass right now, you know.
You got a snap flourish alert.
Yeah, it's just for show because I'm not getting nothing out of it, but it's just so he knows. He knows who took his butt virginity.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, protect your butt virginity. Unless you don't want to. No judgment. No judgment.
Judgment.
But yeah. we're the Fantastic Forum. Good night.